Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, this game is kind of annoying me. It's like everybody keeps killing me. Oh Lord. But how do I see?
Hello, hello, hello. Hope everyone's doing good. We got a BMG Dynasty 2029 college playoff. So far, we've had the ACC play their championship game, the SEC, the Big 12, and the Pac 12. All have played their game. All have played their game. We have one game left, and that's what's up, Notre Dame. We have one more game left, and that is Ohio State and Nebraska. So what we're gonna do is essentially try to figure out who gets in. And this is feel free to comment who you think does get in. I think Clemson, who lost in the ACC championship game, they are out. They will not be able to get in. So the school in Tallahassee, unfortunately, but good job for them that they won. So the question is, and we're gonna go look at his record because I don't remember it. 10-3. So you're gonna have a 10-3 school in Tallahassee in the playoffs. So I think they would replace, if it is gone by how they usually do, where the conference champions get a bye. I think he would be 3. I think he would be 3. Yeah, I think he would be 3. So I think it'll knock Air Force to the 12th, which essentially means if TCU stays at 5, they'll do that. But let's break it down this way. TCU, I think, not TCU, the school in Tallahassee, I think will be the 4th. Actually, I think it'll probably be the 3rd. They'll be the 3rd team seeding wise, which means they'll be on the same side as Kansas. Take Georgia out where they're at right there, and then basically um, put the school in Tallahassee. Now, strictly off of schedule, we have the SEC champion, first year in, who just won, LSU. Congrats to LSU. LSU is 8-5, so I lied. Yes, actually I was right. LSU would be the 4th team in. LSU would be the 4th team in strictly because they won. They have an automatic bid, so they would be 4. So take LSU out where Air Force is, move them out. LSU would be there. I think Ohio State wins. I think Ohio State beats Nebraska, so he'll stay as the 1 seed. So now it's going to get dicey. So we got 1 Ohio State. We have 2 Kansas, who had a big win over TCU. We have 3 the school in Tallahassee, which is a 3-loss team, and then we have LSU, who is a 5-loss team at the 4. Right. So looks like we have to have 1 non-Power 5, probably be Air Force. So the other thing is Stanford just lost. Stanford just lost. So I don't think they would be ranked number 4 once we advance. So what I think happens What I think happens, Miami.
I do not mean it. Like, I'm just passing. I don't want any problems, please.
Oh, what I think happens is Georgia. Georgia drops
What? I just said I don't want to.
to
I'm just
the
trying to look
fifth
for.
seed.
So-
So it would actually be take Georgia out where they are,
You're rating this. Oh, okay.
move
Yeah,
them
I'll
to
move it.
5. I think that's what happens. 6. I think
Ooh, you
Miami
hear that?
moves
Somebody's
up to
coming.
6. Seeding, so take Miami out where they're at and move them to Stanford.
So this is. I literally just started this game.
Hello
And
to
I've already
everyone that's
died
coming
twice.
in.
Because people just
Hello
run
to
up
everyone
on
that's
me.
coming in. Just
I'm just
doing
trying
a
to keep my
what
bearings.
exactly we think is going to happen for the seeding of the playoffs. I think 1 through
What's this thing
4,
right here on the
as a
ground?
recap, 1 through 4, Ohio State stays at 1, Kansas stays at 2, 3, I think will become the school in Tallahassee, and then 4 would be LSU. 4 would be LSU, so they would be essentially in the Air Force, where Air Force is. I think LSU would be there. The school in Tallahassee would
Ooh,
be
perfect.
number
I
3.
feel.
Because TCU lost and they were the 5th seed, I think they would drop to 10 going off of record. Just going off record. I think TCU drops to 10. I think Miami slides up to the 6th. Oh, I'm actually forgetting. I'm actually forgetting UCLA.
Okay, how do I make one of these?
1, 2, 3, 4 conference champions. 5. I think UCLA. Congrats to UCLA. UCLA would be 5th. I think Georgia drops to 6. Georgia drops to 6.
At least 2 people gon' get pushed out.
Correct. I do think 2 teams get pushed out. So the question is, who becomes a border team? I think Tennessee could become a border team, even though we lost to Tennessee. I think Tennessee could become a border team because Stanford is a 2-loss team. You have to keep. What's up, Mario? What's up, Mario? You think Ole Miss? You think Ole Miss gets kicked out? I don't know. Let's go by because I think Georgia. I think Georgia stays in. I think Georgia is going to be 6th, the highest non-conference champion. Yeah, I think they would be the highest non-conference champion, and they have 1 loss, so they would be at 6. So I think Stanford actually is the team that gets knocked out.
How do I drop stuff?
Yeah, Mario, I think the same thing. I think Stanford actually gets knocked out once we advance. I think Stanford gets knocked out. The crazy thing about Tennessee, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Miami. Tennessee beat Miami, but Auburn beat Tennessee. But Miami beat Auburn.
I literally just started like
but
20
Ole Miss
ago.
beat Auburn as well.
I am as fresh as one can be.
That's gonna be really crazy. It's gonna be really interesting. But I think Tennessee is on the bubble watch. I think Ole Miss could potentially. I think Stanford is out.
I don't see Stanford at 4 being out though.
So 4 is the number 4 is their what's it called? Their NPA. What is the national ranking? Because they lost their conference game, their conference championship game, and they were at. This is my thought process. And because they were at the seed 6. They would probably be, if they stay in, I think they would be 11. Because Air Force or whoever that non-power has an automatic bid for the 12th spot. But because Georgia is going to slide down, TCU might slide down, and you had to have, you have to include the school in Tallahassee and LSU who were not. Excuse me, if both those teams did not make it, I think everybody would have been safe. But because you have to add both those teams in because they are conference champions, I think Tennessee could be in trouble.
Yes, I see it.
I do.
All right, perfect.
I think Tennessee and Ole Miss could potentially be in trouble, and I think unfortunately
So are these
Stanford
houses
also
for
could get
other
knocked
people
out.
or from other people?
Now let's see if they do by strength of schedule. Who else did Ole Miss beat? Who else did Ole Miss beat?
Somebody's close. I think they're over there in the bush.
See, and then Ole
Yeah, I
Miss
can hear you.
lost to Tennessee. So if I'm Tennessee, I could be very upset because I beat Miami and I beat Ole Miss. If Ole Miss winds up being stayed in, they beat LSU.
Do you take a lot of fall damage?
Ole Miss might have the worst.
Mm,
They have one good. They have two solid wins, and then everything else was a cakewalk for them for the most part.
they're shooting somewhere.
Lost close to Tennessee, which is I guess is a good thing. Who did Auburn? Did Auburn?
Well, thank you so much. Go. How do I get out of here?
See, they started out 0-2, but see, here's the other part. Auburn lost by double digits in both top 10 matchups, but they wound up
Somebody's right
coming
here
back and
on the
beating
beach. Ah!
Tennessee, which is a good win.
Yeah,
However,
to
I
the
think the
right.
Clemson win doesn't mean much because they're now a 7-6 team. So while they're ranked 22 and they was an ACC championship game, they have a 7-6 record. That win means nothing. They have a great win against TCU. So their two biggest wins are against Tennessee and TCU. And while Wake is a good user, from a record standpoint, it's 6-6. So I think Auburn really needed Clemson to win just from a strength of schedule standpoint because their top two, who are also playoff teams, is 35-10, which is 25 plus 14, 39. And so even if you was to say that what is their point differential between those top three teams, minus 25, minus 39, minus 36, minus 33. They're minus 33 against playoff contending teams. Let's go look at Miami's. Miami is plus 25. Ooh, minus. No, plus 2. Plus 2. And then what is that, 12? Plus 14.
Stanford misses out.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I don't see Stanford at 4 being out though.
Definitely will be sliding
You
through
think
Mario's
Ole
podcast
Miss
after
will
his
be out
game.
then? I'm doing
And then we
it
got a
right
win
after
over
my
10,
game if you're going to
41
slide,
against
brother.
Texas, 9. It's going to be really close. Ole Miss has a great case. Not that they play the users, they played their schedule, what they can't control. But Tennessee has a case. They beat Miami and they beat Ole Miss. Auburn's cases, they beat TCU and Tennessee. Miami's
Stanford
case.
gets in at 11, winking face.
You think Stanford stays in over Ole Miss? Let's see Stanford's schedule because I don't know. Out of respect, I don't know who Stanford played. Those big wins for Kansas and really the ACC let those bubble teams down. To be completely honest, the school in Tallahassee was 18th. Yeah, we let them down. Let's go see Stanford's schedule. Oops.
UCLA gonna get in, I best be in.
Yeah, UCLA. I have you at 4. No, I think I have you at 5. Where is Stanford? And since we're doing Stanford, we'll go ahead and do UCLA right after it. They have one loss. over a top 25 team, and then a win over Notre Dame, a big win over Notre Dame. And then, so their two losses came to the same team, which will be wind up being in the division. I mean, will be in the playoffs. Their strength of schedule, just again, just going off of strength of schedule purposes.
Now, what was you saying?
Oh, you got time for
Their
this?
strength of schedule
Yeah,
might be
I was, Jamaica called me when I was in the,
might be tough.
Oh, everybody called you while
Right.
you was in the doctor's office.
Top 10 win over. Top 10 win over Nebraska.
I talked to Jamil.
Win
I told you I
over
talked to him.
Clemson.
You did, you told me. Yeah, you told me.
A loss to Arkansas. Lost to UCL. They lost 3 straight. They beat Stanford twice.
Ooh.
And they beat Cal. Damn, I didn't know Cal was 7-5 this season.
Yeah, I did yesterday. Hold on, Grandma. I'm trying to
Hmm.
give me a second.
But they won their Pac-12, so they're automatically
You
in.
gonna play your game. Well, I'm just not getting to the house.
They already
You don't
got
want that
in.
to feel, but I got me back. I don't want to hear that. I was calling to tell you.
So you.
It don't matter, man.
Yeah, that's what Marquise said, but I still was
Yeah, I think.
not any less stressed
I
about it.
have home field.
Yes, you do.
Don't you pass?
And I
That's
think
all.
because if you're at 5, it's really going to be a bye because it's going to be Air Force if it stays the same. It's going to be a non-Power 5 game.
So what you finna do now?
That would be
We'll try to breathe. I have an interview tomorrow, so
yeah, that would be a bye essentially.
So
And then your first
we gonna
round
see how that
matchup would
interview
be
go, but
who do they
I
have
might
that
have
for?
to start looking for
LSU,
another
which
one.
is very tough. UCLA versus LSU could be very tough
What, another interview?
if the
Another
prediction
certification.
is correct. Because I think LSU gets in at 4.
What's this certification gonna be?
It'll probably be
LSU is a tough user, man.
yeah, it'll probably be.
I'm telling you, LSU is tough.
I don't know, Grandma. I don't know.
Yep.
I know, I guess. I don't know yet.
He had 260 losses.
Yeah,
he lost by
yeah.
6
It's
to
gonna be
Ole
like a
Miss.
second part to that. Yeah.
Had to take a 4s.
Yep. It's,
Wow, he lost. He had lost
the
to
book don't
Clemson.
stop. It's like
He
a
beat
continuous
Bama though.
thing.
Yeah, well, you got
He could be one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
He catch you slipping, and he has the best. Honestly, he has the best receiver in the game in Dynasty.
Study a little longer.
100% the best. And then he had a big one over Georgia. I think he'll be 4.
Yeah.
Strictly because he won his conference.
Yeah, I
LSU
totally.
is a
I feel
dark
that.
horse for real.
Yeah, LSU's that side of the bracket.
Keep it up.
That side of the
But
bracket
that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you.
is
'cause I
going
was
to
like,
be
oh man.
quite tough with
I wasn't like
LSU at
super
4
stressed about
at
it
the
because I
top.
felt good about it. It
Ohio
was
State,
just
UCLA.
like anything, just you spend all
That
that
10-9
money, you don't
matchup
wanna-
is going to be very
LSU my
scary.
favorite.
LSU's your favorite, yeah.
Yeah.
That 9-10 matchup is going to be so crazy
Yeah.
because
Well, the good thing is I wouldn't have to spend any extra money because I actually I built
you
in.
can get really like
I
honestly, this
so
might be the worst year to
first
be the
time
number 1 seed.
I bought it. I bought the.
Being completely honest,
What's that
because you're
noise?
going to
I
have
bought the retake.
that 9-10 game.
Oh, okay.
So it was like
It's going to be a
$300
combination
cheaper,
of either
right? It's $300
Tennessee,
cheaper.
Auburn,
So I paid an extra $100.
Miami,
So if I needed to retake it, then I wouldn't have to pay any other money.
or Georgia.
So now it's like, well, I didn't need the retake, but I would have wanted the retake
So
if
as
I
a
needed
1
to
seed
retake. You
who's
know?
coming off a bye,
But couldn't you
you're going to
use
have your
that
hands
to
full.
go with your other ones?
No,
You're
no,
going to
it's
have your
completely
hands
separate.
full for a second round matchup.
I mean, it was like extra money,
'Cause
but it was sort
that's
of like
arguably-
a cushioning that, you know,
Under 100
I needed.
yards, but it was the key to me beating
Yeah,
them.
it was worth it.
Shh, I don't know how anybody's skipping over 100 yards.
'Cause-
If you watch the Georgia LSU game, I want
Yeah,
to say
so if I did fail and I needed
it
to
was a
take
2x2
it
set.
again,
Georgia was in
Alright,
2-man,
I got it.
which means he had man underneath on his corners and linebackers, and he had 2 safeties deep.
So
and he threw a fade
that's
ball.
really it. It just was a
Quarterback
lot
rolled
going
out right,
on.
and he threw it. He launched that bitch. Touchdown. He got by his
I'm getting
guy
there. I'm
and the
getting
deep
there.
half safety. And the deep half safety. Crazy. I've been watching him. I've
Okay.
been wanting to watch his
Well,
games just strictly to see the
thanks for coming to
receiver.
my TED talk.
But yeah, really good. Really
Alright,
good.
well, let me
He's gonna be
go,
scary.
so I'm
That top side,
take me a shower and eat my beans and cornbread.
that top side is gonna be
Beans and
crazy.
cornbread sound crazy. All right.
Ohio
South
State,
Carolina.
LSU,
Bye.
Alright, bye-bye.
UCLA. That's just on that side. You kind of want to be the 2 or 3 seed this year. I'm just keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You kind of going to be a 2 or 3 seed this year. And I'm not hoping this to happen, but then what happens if Ohio State loses?
In year 3 I had to run the gauntlet in the playoffs to win it all. If I make it as the one, it'll be another gauntlet, face exhaling, face exhaling.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gauntlet, Mario. If you stay the 1 seed, if you want to really just say what happened, what if Ohio State loses to Nebraska? Nebraska has an automatic bid. Ohio State is now another one-loss team that's a non-conference. Myself included. I think if that was to happen, Tennessee's out, Stanford's out for sure. Miami might go to like 11 or 12. Yeah, if Ohio State loses to Nebraska, it is absolutely chaos. Absolutely. I think Miami might be one of the last teams in strictly because we beat Auburn. Oh, it's gonna be some if Mario does that. What I'm gonna say is just Mario. If Ohio State loses to Nebraska, it's going to get really dicey. And then you know what's gonna happen? Someone's gonna be mad that Air Force got in at 7-5. Oh, that's gonna be messy. Kind of exciting, but that's gonna be really messy because he has to stay in the playoffs. He's a 12 win team with the one loss. Stanford is praying it doesn't happen because I think Stanford's the first one off.
Air Force isn't a user.
Exactly, and Air Force isn't a user. Yep. I think Stanford and Ole Miss are both praying that Ohio State wins, just so that it keeps them in the playoffs. Mm. And Tennessee, I think Tennessee would also prefer Ohio State winning, and then doing like everybody else that has to do is run the gauntlet. This playoffs might be one of, no, yeah, it could be. This playoffs could be one of the most exciting playoffs. It would even been crazier if this was Alabama's down year, but I have full confidence he'll be back next year. And then you're gonna be scraping for those conference games are gonna really matter. Those conference games and whoever they match you up with that non-conference, you better win that game because it might come down to a head-to-head situation. And Kansas is tough. Kansas played. Kansas was balling. Tennessee can play. We actually got a lot of. We're pretty deep in terms of amount of good players. If they get hot at the right time, it's gonna be a very tough out. The way Auburn has adapted and is running that football, you gotta put if you were to put a bet in, right? Let's say you had to put a bet in. If you can't bet on anybody that can't stop the run, just being honest, Tennessee can run that football.
This is legit anyone's
Auburn, yeah, absolutely, Mario. This is one of those years where it's going to come down to the matchups. Who do you in your side? Who can you match up with? But TCU, run that football. Tennessee, run that football. Auburn, run that football. Ohio State, run that football. Kansas, he can tote that rock a little bit.
Nebraska tapping in.
What's up, Nebraska? Nebraska, we were just talking about you. We were just talking about you, Nebraska, how you can cause absolute hell if you pull up the upset today against Ohio State. You might have a couple of people mad at you, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you mess around and win today, Nebraska, you will have a couple of people mad at you because they will no longer be in the playoffs because you have that automatic bid. It'd be good for the Big Ten because they'll have 2 teams in. The Big 12 has 2 in currently. The SEC has, I think the SEC will have 3 teams in: Auburn, Georgia, and LSU. Now, actually, I think the Big 12 has 3. Is Ole Miss Big 12? I think Ole Miss is Big 12, not SEC.
Stanford to stay in.
I can't remember if Ole Miss is. I think Ole Miss is Big 12.
When me and Coach play, it's either a blowout or a shootout. I'm hoping we get over the hump.
Hey,
But
it's
Ole
anybody's
Miss also
game.
lost their conference game.
Oh, Ole Miss lost their
Ole
conference
Miss is
game?
Big 12.
Ole Miss is Big 12? Okay. Oh, well, hey, maybe Air Force losing keeps somebody in. Maybe I'm not completely sure how, if it just goes to the next highest Power 5, or, that'd be kind of good if Air Force is out. Then it could, it gives some wiggle room. But if that also happens, I don't think they have Stanford and UCLA playing for a third time at the top of the bracket either. I don't think they would do that. So who be the next? Who else is on the bubble? Liberty. Liberty could be that 12th seed, depending on how this next game goes. Liberty might have hope. Now again, Liberty only has hope if Nebraska loses. If Nebraska wins, Liberty is they in the outdoor whatever camp door bowl, whatever that they're going to be in.
I've been in a league before where I won the conference championship and still didn't get into. CPU could get real janky.
Let's hope that's not the case, because I might quit a dynasty if I'm the conference champion, and that was how I had to get in, and I didn't get in. That might be my 13th reason to quit the dynasty. I'm not gonna lie to you. Man, Liberty might have hope, especially when I didn't realize Air Force lost their game. Oof. I'm looking excited. Did anybody know the time of the Nebraska Ohio State game? I definitely have intentions on watching that. It's gonna be an exciting playoffs. I can tell you that much. Who do you guys think is the top favorites to actually win it all?
I think 6 CT.
6 Central? Oh, okay. So we got. Well, I'm on the East Coast, so about 2 hours.
Asterisk CST.
Yeah, we got it. Well, not about another hour, not 2 hours. Not about another hour. Yeah, this year is definitely going to come down to the matchups. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of want to be 6. Who would I be? 1, 5, 12, 10, 9, 8, 11. Who does 6 play? Is it 6, 7? Yeah, maybe it is 6 and 7. 5 versus 12, 10 versus 9, 8 versus 11, 6 versus 7. And then the reason I say I want to be 6 is because if if Miami is 6, and by
Yeah,
my
6 and 7.
6 and 7, by the theory that I had, I think the school in Tallahassee would be 3. We win our first round matchup, and I get to play that school in Tallahassee in the playoffs when it matters. Oh yeah, you gonna want to tune in for that game. You're gonna want to tune in for that game. And again, it's nothing personal. Whoever is the user, I don't know him personally. It's my hatred for the school. Yep, my hatred for that school. So I would love to be able to go up to 6, but I also think that might be tough because TCU lost. I don't think they stay at the 5th seed. I think they might drop to 6. Whoo! TCU drops to 6. You could have Kansas, Miami, Ole Miss, TCU, Georgia, and Ole Miss all on the same side. Ooh, that's not very friendly either. There's no easy way out this year. There's no easy way to the path. Because I think they're gonna put TCU as the 5th. I mean, put UCLA as the 5th seed. Yeah, they will put him over TCU because he's a conference champ. That could be deadly. He can probably drop to 7.
Winner between Auburn and Tennessee. Myself, you and TCU are my favorites to win it all.
Auburn,
There's
Tennessee,
no platform in
Ohio
disrespect.
State, TCU. Yeah, yeah. From a matchup standpoint, I don't think I would consider myself a runner, but at least on the bottom side, you got some guys that are really good at controlling the ball. I have not seen the school in Tallahassee play though, so
It's
I'm
hard to
unfamiliar.
ignore LSU peaking at the right time.
Correct. I 100% agree. LSU peaking at the right time, having a big win over Georgia and having that big win over Bama, and his players, especially with the improvement with the attributes and stuff. Oh yeah. Our goal right now is to make sure that we're the lower seed in our matchup. I'm pretty sure none of us are afraid to go on the road for that first playoff round, but I think we all would prefer to be the home team as well. Yeah. Now I'm thinking it's going to be very tough for Stanford to stay in. Maybe Stanford goes up to 12. I just don't see them having Stanford versus UCLA for a third game. But maybe I'm using my too much of a realistic brain of real life. So maybe the game's coding does it. But it's always hard to beat a person for a third time though. But yeah, I didn't want to take up too much of this time. Just want to do some speculating of what the playoff picture could look like before Ohio State in Nebraska. I'm pretty sure all of us would be tuned in. I know all the bubble teams that we just talked about definitely are going to be tuned in. But yeah, what I think is going to happen is Ohio State 1, Kansas at 2, the school in Tallahassee at 3, LSU at 4. I'm going to switch that. I think UCLA goes up to, what is UCLA's record? Nine and 4. Yeah, UCLA might mess around and might have played themselves into a bye. But LSU is also ranked 17, so they might not care about the 4 losses versus the 5 losses. But both are also conference champs, and LSU is ranked higher. Damn, even though the school in Tallahassee has 3 losses, LSU's, well, they got better wins, I guess. But yeah, this is going to be my last prediction. Then we're going to close off, and hopefully we get a good game tonight between Nebraska and Ohio State. But Ohio State stays at 1, Kansas stays at 2. The school in Tallahassee jumps up to 3. I think LSU stays at 4 since they're already ranked higher than UCLA. UCLA at 5. I think because I lost to Georgia 6, TCU 7, Miami 8, Auburn 9, Tennessee 10. Ole Miss gets to stay at 11 and Stanford at 12 because and I put Stanford back in. Because they played in a conference championship game, which would give them the nod over Liberty. I think those are the 12 teams that get in. Yep, I think those are. I think that's how it'll fall. Ohio State 1, Kansas 2, the school in Tallahassee 3, LSU 4, UCLA 5, Georgia 6, TCU 7, Miami 8, Auburn 9, Tennessee 10, Ole Miss 11, Stanford 12. We're gonna see how accurate we are once the dust settles. But I hope y'all guys have a good one. I appreciate y'all joining in. If y'all haven't already, we had 25 subscribers. We just started maybe less than a month ago, so not too bad. If you in here, all I ask is that if you can hit me a subscribe button. It's free. You get to watch me play all the BMG games. Starting to dabble into with some coaching, some playbook guide and how to do personnel and how to read coverages. So if something that you can add to your game, feel free. You got some suggestions or like the collab, talk about some football. Love to do it. But I appreciate you guys and y'all have a good one. Also, check out the new logo. Tell me what y'all think. We got a new logo for our channels on Twitch and YouTube. So let me know what y'all think about the new logo.